Greetings and welcome to Old Drunken Discography, where people keep texting every time I start a show. Okay. We're here talking about the Talking Heads. I am your host, Jason. With me is Tim.
That's me.
And our special guest, Prince.
Yeah.
And this is a Patreon pick, so if you'd like to pick an artist for us, check out the Patreon link down below, or come hang out with us in Facebook, Discord, hit the like, hit the subscribe, do all that YouTube yada 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 stuff. We're here to talk to Talking Heads.
Taylor Swift.
Playlist link channel, sort by playlist, and you can watch our first video. But today we're talking more songs about buildings and food. I shouldn't start this one off.
Honestly, this is the album that I did not have a lot of history with. It's probably the one that I never really listened to when I got into Talking Heads necessarily, or started listening to them. But Jason, like you said earlier, this one definitely has a little bit more reggae vibe. And I forgot it's got that cover of Take Me to the River on it. That's just fantastic.
Yes. It's a very danceable record. Coming off the first one, this was the first one Brian Eno produced, which is notable. Opening track, I did like this one better than the first album. I think this was a better opening track. Feels like early 70s pop. It's like super melodic. With Our Love goes back into that funky shit. It's good stuff. The good thing, the music was a little repetitive, but the lyrics are really good. Warning Sign, I wasn't a big fan of. The vocal delivery was great, but the song just kind of lingers on a little bit too long. The Girls Want to Be with the Girls, super insightful lyrics again. Found a Job, top song contender. Damn That Television, what a bad picture. Don't get upset, it's not a major disaster. The Energy, I love that one. Artist Only, kind of crazy. We're still in the 70s and this song exists. Kind of felt ahead of its time.
Interesting. Okay.
I'm Not in Love, same thing as Found a Job. I love the energy, the changes, even the drums do a few cool little things. Stay Hungry, I wasn't a fan of though. There's some things I like about New Wave, but this one had everything I hate about it rolled up in one song. Take Me to the River, album goes back and forth, highs and lows. This one's another high, kind of reminds me of Queen. And the Big Country, there's a better Big Country coming in a few years. This song though, it's an interesting closer. It has some Western in it. I dug it. I'm torn if I liked it more than the first one, though. Pulled up. A lot of peaks and valleys in this one. So.
Yeah, I feel like this one felt a little more derivative than the first album for me. Like starting off, Thank You for Sending Me an Angel. Is that not just Get Back?
Maybe, but I like Get Back, so it kind of worked for me.
I mean, I do too. It kind of works, but it is kind of just Get Back. And then like there's nothing that's inherently like terrible on here, but there was nothing that like inherently jumped out at me either. I did like Warning Sign and Found a Job. Those are probably the two highlights for me. And then that's interesting. You said Artists Only was ahead of its time. because I felt it was nostalgic for a very 60s sound with like the spy movie type soundtrack.
I was thinking it was like '80s new wave. Like to me, it felt like what was popular in the '80s.
Well, and yeah, no, I'm gonna have to go back and listen to that one again. Because it did. It reminded me of like a 60s thing. So that's really interesting. Um, and then we got to mention the singing fish for Take Me to the River. Um, I'm pretty sure everybody's weird uncle had one on his wall during the
Yeah,
2000s.
yeah,
Um, and then we're gonna get to Big Country, like um, not as good of a closer as on the first album, and it also uh, kind of points out, like, I think what my biggest problem with this album is that where, like, the first album was kind of artsy disco, and this one certainly is as well. There's a lot more like country influence and just basic um, song structure, and even like, I mean, I don't even want to say country. Let's say like the Laurel Canyon sound of rock and roll that was very country influenced. Um, it does. It feels more like we're trying to do like a danceable Joni Mitchell album here almost. Um, I don't know. It was weird. I thought the production was really good, and but yeah, nothing really jumped out at me on this one.
No,
yeah.
it kind of feels like throwing stuff at a wall and seeing what sticks to an album.
Yeah,
Doesn't
yeah.
have the
Like,
same
okay,
like
yeah, we're
compilation.
working with Brian
Wow.
Eno. Let's
Yeah.
just get in there and make noise, and
Yeah.
yeah.
I
And then
mean,
especially coming after the first album, that definitely felt a little more focused. And I mean,
Yeah.
that's always the thing. You got your whole life to write your first album, and then what, 6 months to write the second album.
3 months,
So
like they're the next year.
yeah, so there's a little bit of that. Um, yeah.
Pretty early Brian Eno too, wasn't it? Yeah.
Well, he was doing stuff since like the early
Oh,
70s.
yeah, that's
So
true.
I don't know. Found a Job stood out to me. Like that. That's a good song.
that was a good song. Yeah.
I like that one.
And I liked Warning Sign too. It was um, it was one of those songs where it didn't jump out at me, but by the end of it, I was like, you know what? I can't really find anything wrong with it.
Did the band The Big Country like get their name from this album though?
That'd
I
be
think they both got it from something else. And I'm trying to remember what it was. But no, I think they got it from something before this even.
Oh, okay. It was a very danceable record. This one felt more like not disco, but just more danceable to me than the first one. It was very safe. Like it wasn't like crazy Talking Heads, like Fear of Music type shit yet. It was very safe.
Yeah. And this was what, 78?
Yeah, 78.
So, yeah, I mean, we're the height of disco, and nobody knows what punk is yet.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Yeah,
even new wave, because new wave is just watered down punk, right?
It's transitional, definitely.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, there was some of that here though. Like there was some new wave. Like
Yeah,
I
there's a
just
little bit. Yeah.
I didn't realize it
Well,
was
and
that
they
early.
Well, and I mean, especially as we start going into the 80s, it's real interesting. Like from the advent of punk through the end of the century, it's real interesting seeing how, like, especially in the early 80s, um, hard like punk rock and dance music kind of formed a whole bunch of things. You know, you could count like industrial music, um, club music, you know, new metal. Like it all kind of stems from this marriage of, you know, let's take youthful aggression and make it marketable,
Mhm.
which they've been doing forever, you know. I mean, that was the same story with the Beatles and Elvis and
Yeah.
Yeah, you reminded me. I've been on a Beatles kick. Like every once in a while, I just get on the like just a Beatles kick where I got to listen to all the Beatles records. We
it
got to we
happens.
got to cover them on the show. Like we got to do that next year. We got to deep dive the Beatles. I don't think Bill's heard the Beatles yet.
How?
Well, then we got to.
I think he knows like the singles, but he doesn't know the Beatles. He ain't heard no Rocket Raccoon.
Right.
Rocky
The
Raccoon.
copy of White Album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Underrated. Underrated.
What, White Album?
Mm-hmm.
White Album? Great.
A lot of
I
people
don't
say
like
it's got
Calling
fluff
the
on it.
White Album underrated.
Well, I mean,
That's
so a lot of Beatles fans are like, "There's a lot of fluff on here. It should have been a single disc. There's a lot of throwaway tracks." I disagree. I disagree. I'm gonna have a hot take. Anyway, we're talking heads. Stick around. We're gonna get to the Beatles eventually.
But first, we got to rank this guy.
We gotta rank this one, and I gotta guess because I got the dot. I'm gonna go for the clean sweep. I'm gonna say we all like the first one more.
Okay.
I mean, that's correct for me.
Am I good?
I mean, so far, yeah.
Okay. The clean sweep. See that, Bill? I got it.
Out of the two albums, it is the second.
Yeah, out of the ones on the screen, that's where we're going. That's how we do it.
Yeah.
All right. I got that clean sweep, Bill. Make sure you leave a comment down below. Hashtag where's Bill? Because he's a little bitch.
What's he even doing tonight?
I don't know. He said he'd be late. Maybe he's got a hot date or something. I don't know.
He's going to see a metal band with his girlfriend.
Yeah, probably.
He's you know, making sure various elderly people get across the street safely.
Yeah, he's not fighting the bums down at the docks tonight. We don't know what he's doing.
No. Yeah. He's protecting the elderly at bus stops.
That's what
What a
he's doing.
sweetheart.
Alright, I already plugged all the dumb YouTube shit in the beginning of the video, so we're just going to wrap this up. Stick around. Fear music's next. Be safe. And what, Tim?
Make good pancakes.
Decisions.
Fuck, I'm hungry now.
Damn that television! What a bad picture!
And then you go a little woo, and then a little whoop, 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 and then it's all, you know, and then you're ready to go again.